The 2026 Chicago Blackhawks are no longer undefeated, losing their first game of the calendar year. Welcome back to the Blackhawks conversation. My name is Ryan McGregor. If you're new here, I am here after every single Blackhawks game, doing a post-game show just like this one, trying to build a community of Blackhawks fans here. I am also live on TikTok before every game and also during the intermissions, and maybe, who knows, potentially during some of the games coming up here. So be sure to also follow me on TikTok at Blackhawks Conversation. And this show is also available on Apple Podcasts. So now, with all those ads out of the way, let's get into this game. Can we even call it the 2026 Chicago Blackhawks, given the fact that the plague went through the locker room? Um, and I have a little conspiracy theory about that has to do with Connor Bedard that we'll get into. But yeah, the Hawks were missing Crevier, Mikheyev, Knight, and Soderblom. Um, so they're missing their one of their top pairing defensemen, who is crucial on the penalty kill, and is crucial 5-on-5. You're missing Ilya Mikheyev, who is your best penalty killing forward, and again is crucial 5-on-5. He's a factor every single night. You're missing your starting goaltender, and you're missing your backup goalie. You're missing both your goaltenders, and it's ironic because I was listening to the SDPN podcast earlier today, and they were talking about hypothetical situations, and Steve Dangle goes, envision your team. Envision what would happen if they lost both their goaltenders. And then, like an hour later, before this game, they're like Knight and Soderblom are out. So that became a reality. So I don't know what that was about. So that means Drew Commesso gets his, I believe it's his second career start, third career game, but I believe second career start. I could be wrong on that. If I am, let me know. I just remember his first start. Um, and this one wasn't much better. I shouldn't say it wasn't much better because his first start was awful, but the Hawks were really sloppy in the first. What else is new? There was no offense. They had a 5-on-3 in the first period that they generated decently well on. They had 6 shots on goal on those combined 2 power plays and a bit of overlap for a 5-on-3, obviously there, and just really bad D zone coverage. Um, it was not good from them, and that's something that we're used to here. And it was Anthony Beauvillier, Blackhawks legend, Anthony Beauvillier, that scores the goal to make it 1-0. And it was an interesting play because you have a mixed D pair on the ice. Crevier and Korchinski, or not Crevier, Levshinov and Korchinski were on the ice. And Levshinov is in position. He's playing on the right side. He has his man in front of the net. Puck is in the left corner, Korchinski's side for that shift. He's battling away in the corner. You have Nick Lardis battling. It's a 2-on-2. Maybe it was a 2-on-1. Um, Puck comes out, goes across the ice to the right point. If you're from a defensive perspective, the right point. Um, and puck gets fired on net. And now, like I said, Levshinov is taking his own man in front. Korchinski decides to take the high guy, and he leaves Lardis with his man in the corner. And my issue with this decision from Korchinski is that, okay, if you're going to leave the guy in the corner and take the high guy, you got to make sure Lardis has him. Lardis has him. But then you go and you cover the same guy as Moore. Moore's got him covered. So maybe just go to the front of the net or stay on the guy. I would just go to the front of the net. So what happens is he goes high, and now Lardis has his man in the corner, who and is the eventual goal scorer in Beauvillier. Beauvillier beats Lardis to the net, and it comes across, and he just has an easy tap in. And so that's one I don't blame Comesso on at all. I felt bad for the guy. It was the first shot on net, and it goes in. And for me, that's a combination of a little bit of miscommunication between Korchinski, Lardis, maybe not some miscommunication with Lardis, but Korchinski maybe confused on who to cover. Him and Moore take the same guy. Lardis just gets beat to the net, and that can't happen, and it's 1-0. In the first 7 minutes of this game, it was just all caps in the ozone. And then, like I said, the Hawks get their 2 overlapping power plays for a brief 5-on-3. They get a lot of really good scoring opportunities. They come really close a few times. Bedard rips one off the post, but they can't convert, and it stays 1-0. But then you notice the Hawks gain some momentum from that power play. Things start to kind of turn around a little bit. Camesso makes two really good saves, and then Connor McMichael makes it 2-0. And this goal was a heartbreaker because the play starts on an offensive zone faceoff. The Hawks win the draw, but it's not won back hard enough to get all the way to the point. So it would have been going to Korchinski on the left. He was with Grizzlick on the right. So the puck doesn't get won back hard enough to get back to Korchinski. So you can see Korchinski kind of hesitate whether or not he wants to pinch forward to try to keep the play alive. And while that's happening, you have Burakovsky, pardon me, uh, reaching to try to keep the play alive as well. Um, and so you have Korchinski hesitating, and you'd think Grizzlick sees this, and you'd think Grizzlick would think, okay, Korchinski's hesitating. He might pinch here. I'm going to back off. Just to be safe, I'm going to back off in case the puck comes the other way and the Caps get possession. Because right now, nobody has possession. Well, the Caps end up getting possession. You have Korchinski and Grizzlick caught flat-footed. McMichael blows up the middle, gets the pass from, I believe, Ryan Leonard. And McMichael splits the D because you have both Korchinski and Grizzlick caught flat footed. And I put a still shot on Twitter of about a second before the goal as McMichael was coming in. And you have Grizzlick right on his ass, but you have Korchinski, knees hardly bent, just kind of gliding there. And you want to see more effort from Korchinski. And I'll get into it later, but I didn't like his game tonight. And it's really underwhelming because I've been calling for him to come up here a lot this year, and it's disappointing to see him get a shot and play the way he did. Um, and then with a minute left in the first period, Ethan Frank makes it 3-0. And I'll be honest, at this point, I had a little bit of hope for the second period, but not a whole lot. The writing was kind of on the wall with this game. I knew we weren't going to go back above 500. So that was disappointing. So yeah, Ethan Frank scores with a minute left, and you have, a floater shot from kind of the half wall. It was kind of a pass shot. I don't really know what the intention there was. He just was throwing it on net, I think. And it ends up going to Ethan Frank, who taps it in or kind of swats the loose puck in from about a foot in front of the net. And you want sorry, not Soderblom. You want Comesso to make a save there. You do, but at the same time, you have Levshinov and Kaiser in front of the net. Two guys for one capital in Ethan Frank. Levshinov is just kind of hanging out in no man's land in front of the net, not taking anybody. He's just kind of facing the play. If anything, maybe screening Comesso a little bit. I don't know. Even though the initial shot didn't go in. And then you have Kaiser, who's actually the man taking Ethan Frank. And he's playing the body a little bit, but then he kind of lets the body go and he never takes the stick and he lets Ethan Frank bang it in. So yeah, it's point blank and you want to save there from Comesso, but also he shouldn't be in that position to have to make a save point blank. Ethan Frank all alone when you have an in tight, you have two guys in front of the net, they have one. So that's just the theme continues of really bad D zone coverage, especially in net front. Foligno has a chance late in the first period, side of the net, open cage almost, if not wide open. Good shot to score, and he tries to go between the legs, through the legs, and I think make a pass is what it looked like. And this team is in no position to try to play cute and play fancy, especially when you're down 3-0 in the first period on home ice. Uh, suffering with illnesses the way you guys are, and it's just. It's one thing if we see that from, Lardis or Moore or one of the other young guys, but this is captain. This is Nick Foligno, a veteran in this league, and he should know better than that. And this becomes a bit of a theme throughout the game. The Hawks were too cute, and they never had the right to be at all at any point in this game. So the end of the first period, Hawks are actually up 10-6 in shots because of that power play. They had 6 shots in the power play. 5-on-5, they're getting smoked. But on the power play, they had some good looks. Good looks. And I thought Bedard had actually a pretty good first period. Bedard played 6 minutes and 1 second. He had 3 shots on goal, and from my personal count, at least 5 shot attempts. One I can remember, I think, got blocked or deflected, and one off the pipe. So I think he had at least 5 shot attempts in that first period, but 3 registered shots on goal. And then, second period goes on, and Oliver Moore gives some life on the power play. He makes it 3-1, and it was a nice goal. You have some perimeter passing, Lardis to Grizzlick. Those two end up getting the assists. Grizzlick to Moore on that left flank, similar to the last goal he scored, and another beautiful shot. It's short side. He rips it just over the shoulder under the bar. Beautiful shot. I didn't think Oliver Moore had much of a shot, but if you remember back to preseason, he had a goal. I believe was it the final game in the preseason? It was later in the preseason where Doc kind of started a scrum at center and everyone just kind of forgot the play was happening and Moore came in and roofed it. And I remember at that moment being like, this Oliver Moore guy might actually have a good shot because, I didn't, before that, I never thought Oliver Moore, this kid's going to be good because he has a good shot. Um, but it looks like the guy's got a good shot. He's clearly working on it in the offseason, and that was a beautiful, beautiful shot. So Moore from Grizzlick and Lardis makes it 3-1. Uh, Tempo escalates after that, and then immediately gets taken away as Sordif makes it 4-1. Um, so this is the first goal where I thought, okay, this one is undeniably on Korchinski. You have a shot from a bad angle, a good save from Tomesso. The rebound pops out. It's Korchinski and Sardif in front of the net, the only two guys. Korchinski ties him up, uh, but the Capitals player outmuscles him. Korchinski falls, doesn't tie up the stick, bangs home the rebound, 4-1. Korchinski's got to have better coverage than that. And that, like I said, it's been a theme. That net front coverage in tight in the crease, clearing the crease has been a challenge for this team. Uh, and then you have a hit on Oliver Moore where Lardis steps in, chaos ensues, and Lardis gets the only penalty. And this was at the end of the second period. Hawks are down 4-1. I forget who it was off the top of my head who hit more. It was a good hit, hard hit. It was a clean hit. But I like Lardis coming in to defend more. What I don't like is that Lardis gets the only penalty, and that's not in Lardis's control. But what is in Lardis's control is for him to think, it was a clean hit. We're down 4-1. It's nearing the end of the second period. Do I want to risk putting my team on the penalty kill right now? And it's not his job to do that. It's cool. I like the camaraderie there. I like that he's sticking up for his teammate. But at the same time, it's not your job. Know the scenario you're in. Um, Read the room, as they say. It wasn't the time to do it, and like I expect, right when I saw it, I knew he was getting the only penalty, and the Hawks are shorthanded. Luckily, they don't score on it. And then the third period was a whole lot of nothing. Ovechkin 2-on-1 makes it 5-1. Lev Shinov gets caught pinching. It was a combination of Lev Shinov pinches to join the play to try to get an odd man rush. I don't mind it. And then Donato, a brutal turnover, and you have a 2-on-1 the other way. You have you have Alex Ovechkin sitting at 918 goals, coming in on Drew Commesso, who's played not even two full NHL games in his career. That's a guaranteed goal, and Ovechkin puts it 5 goals. So it's a 5-1 finish. And if at the end of the game, shots are 24-24. Our and I liked our special teams. It was 5-on-5. That's the issue. It's 5-on-5 tonight. The special teams, our power play went 1 for 4. That's 25%. If your power play runs 25%, you're happy. And our penalty kill went 3 for 3. Our penalty kill was 100%. Our power play was 25%. That's 125%. And you want your special teams combined to be over 100%. And it was by 25, if I did my math correctly. So special teams had a good night. It's 5-on-5 that we couldn't generate. We couldn't get anything going. And I had a thought. I said at the top of the episode I had a bit of a conspiracy, and I do. So Bedard comes back. I thought he had a decent first period, but overall he wasn't very noticeable. It wasn't the Bedard we saw before he went down. And my theory here is he might have been rushed back. So I think the timeline was for him to come back, uh, you know, within the next few games here. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think the plan was for him to come back today. And the reason I say that is because you have him playing the wing. So my first thought was, okay, they don't want him taking faceoffs because of the shoulder. You have him playing the wing. Um, he didn't play very aggressive this game like he normally does. He wasn't as good. Don't get me wrong, there was zero hesitancy to shoot the puck, so that goes against my theory here. He did shoot the puck a lot. But you have this all of a sudden this illness, this flu, and you have, two forwards out, both your goalies out. Um, you need bodies. So my theory is he might have been rushed back, maybe a game or two early is my theory here because between the illnesses, the missing bodies, the fact that he's on the wing, and the fact more so that he just clearly wasn't playing like himself um, this game. So my theory is eh, not that he was rushed back, a month early or 2 weeks early, just a game or two, just a game or two. I think maybe the plan was to have him back tomorrow because it's a back to back tomorrow. Um, or what do they play? Tuesday or Monday? I think they play Monday. Um, I think that was the plan for him to come back one of those games. Now I could be wrong. I could be way off. Maybe it could have just as easily. It's probably more plausible that it was just rust. I mean, the guy's missed almost a month. So it was possible that it was just rust and that the reason he was playing wing was because of the face-off thing. So that's entirely possible. So he finishes the night with no points, 4 shots on goal in 17 minutes and 7 seconds of ice time. Um, yeah. I actually liked the Bedard Moore and Lardis line. I kind of hope they keep it, but at the same time, like Bedard's your number one center. And I've always said Bedard's a true center. He's not as effective on the wing. And that could be another reason for how he looked tonight. He was playing the wing. I never thought he's ever looked as effective on the wing. He's a true centerman. It's like Oliver Moore. He's way better when he plays center. So I think, I don't know, like I think I'd be happy either way. Like I'd be happy to see Bedard stay with Moore and Lardis, but I'd also be happy to see him go back up to that first line center spot. So either way, I think I'll be happy. My big gripe tonight, though, is Kevin Korchinski. Why the hell was Kevin Korchinski not on the power play? First of all, Kevin Korchinski had a bad night. Okay, he did not have a good night. Tough night for him. Terrible D zone coverage. He was invisible in the offensive zone, and his bread and butter, his game is offensive hockey. He's an offensive defenseman. If he's gonna make it in the NHL, it's gonna be because he's a effective offensive defenseman who can contribute on the power play and put up points and at the very least, just be a net neutral in the defensive zone. And he was none of that tonight. He was a negative in the defensive zone, and he was invisible in the offensive zone. And yeah, that's his fault, but it's also why didn't he get any power play time? What I would have done, what I wanted, I said it in my live stream on TikTok. Follow me over on TikTok. I'm live before the games and in the intermissions, and potentially for some games upcoming. We'll see. Um, I said it there. Uh, And give him power play two. Give him unit two. Take Grizzlick off. Give him unit two. Give Levshinov one. And as the game goes on, if you find that you have 3 or 4 power plays, they had 4 of them. Maybe then go, okay, we've had 2 power plays here. For the next one, let's send out Korchinski with a top unit. Let's switch them for this power play. Play around with it. I mean, give him the chance to prove himself here. And if he's gonna do that, he needs power play time. So that's my little Kevin Korchinski rant. Um, he's not, but he's also not helping his own case. Like it's not like it's the coaching staff's fault. He played bad. Um, and he's not helping his case, and he's just strengthening the idea for him to get traded. And I think honestly, if nothing changes the rest of this year, is he part of an off-season package to bring in a forward? Maybe. There was a time not long ago where I would have been against that, but not anymore. And you might say I'm overreacting. It's one game, sure, but I just did not like what I saw tonight. So yeah, that's it for this post game. Like I said, be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this game. I really want to hear people's thoughts on this one. It was a crazy, crazy game, very interesting game, unique circumstances. Like I said, follow me over on TikTok for lives. I'm live before every game and in the intermissions. And like I said, hopefully during some games soon. And follow the show on Apple Podcasts. And as always, I will see you tomorrow in the next post game. I believe they're in Nashville. I should know that. I believe they're in Nashville. I'll see you then in the next post game.